Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. It's wonderful to be here with everyone. How are you? Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Nice to see you, Gemma, Ala, Olena, Sergey, Yulia.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Romana. Welcome, Inessa. Hello, Natalia. Hello, Olena. Welcome, Marina. Hi, Natalie. This is a great Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night crowd. Welcome, Diana. Welcome, Victoria. Welcome, Michaela. Welcome, Julian. Oh, welcome, Mary. Welcome, Max. This is fantastic. What a great group. Please open the chat and introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you're joining from. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Pelin. Welcome, Jack. Welcome, Christina. Welcome, Ina. Oh, joining from Pakistan and the Philippines. Welcome. Our global community. Here we are. Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Please open your chat. Tell us where you are. Tell us what you do. If you're a faculty member, if you're a high school teacher, if you work with children. Wonderful. Oh, this is so fantastic to see. Look at this from New York, from the Philippines, from Croatia. Welcome. It is absolutely wonderful to be here with you. Please do introduce yourself in the chat as you arrive. We're just giving a moment for people to get logged in, and it looks like we have an amazing crowd on this Saturday. Really excited. All right. This is wonderful. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Holistic Language Pedagogies Ways Forward in English Language Teaching and Learning webinar series. We are thrilled to have you here. I'll start with just a little housekeeping. Please turn off your mic unless you're presenting or asking a question or participating in the discussion. So if everyone could mute their microphone now. And please get comfortable. If you want to have a cup of coffee or tea or some water or a snack with you, we have an amazing 2-hour presentation ready for you. And so we want you to have everything you need to be comfortable, to be able to fully engage. So take a moment to get situated. And for everyone who's just arriving, we welcome you. We're so glad you're here. Please do introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you are. We're thrilled to have colleagues from across Ukraine who are joining today from so many different regions. Welcome and thank you for making time. We have colleagues joining us from the Philippines, from Pakistan, from the US, from Croatia. Where else? Where else are you joining from? Please do introduce yourself. From Germany. This is wonderful. So welcome to our webinar series. Again, this is a webinar series that's focused on holistic language pedagogies, and I'm just going to tell you a little about how we got here. First, I want to thank the US Department of State and the Regional Language Office for the region that includes Ukraine for their funding of this project. This is a project that has focused over the last year on supporting TESOL faculty across Ukraine to improve their English language teacher preparation programs. So really making sure that every new teacher is getting the latest technologies and innovations and research and understanding around language pedagogies. And we have had a particular focus on holistic language learning. One, because all of our extraordinary faculty members are living in Ukraine and there is a war. And so there are obvious challenges, obvious concerns and worries, obvious trauma that needs to be attended to. And we've been doing that through a series of workshops. We want to send a special thank you to Dr. Laura Becker and all of her colleagues in the larger global TESOL network, in the IA TEFL network, and throughout the city of New York and many different university campuses there for supporting us in workshops and learning and exchanges this year. My name is Julie Casper, and I'm the Director of Teacher Learning and Leadership in our Center for Professional Learning at Childhood Education International. And Childhood Education International is an organization that is committed to finding innovative solutions to some of the biggest challenges in education. We have been thrilled to support this faculty group, and we are absolutely honored to be with all of you today in this learning community. We're so excited for this, which is our second webinar in our series. And this webinar is going to focus specifically on social and emotional learning, or what we say in brief, SEL, and how we can integrate that into English language teaching classrooms. And we have a very robust agenda, which includes 3 25-minute presentations. And then after those 3 presentations, we're going to have an open discussion about all of the presentations and all of your experiences. So if you were with us on Thursday for the first webinar, we had one presentation, a little question and answer, and then the next presentation. Today will be a little different. We will have each presentation in turn, and then we should have 20 to 30 minutes at the end for all of us to have a conversation about what we've learned, what questions are still on our mind, what our hopes are. Today, the topics will include teaching English in emergencies, looking at social emotional learning and peace education. We'll also look at classroom drama for healing trauma. And then we'll talk about empowering SEL through digital tools. So with no further ado, and please do continue to introduce yourselves in the chat. Welcome to everyone who's just logging in. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce our first presenters for today, an amazing duo, a powerful duo, a duo that brings heart and so much care to everything they do. Olha and Antonina are going to share with us something about teaching English in emergencies with a focus on social emotional learning and peace education. Make sure your notebook and your pen are ready. I know that they are going to share some amazing resources and ideas with us. I have my notebook and pen ready to go. I got a fresh one for this session. And with that, I'd like to turn the microphone and the camera over to Antonina and Olha. Thank you so much. Here we are.
Thank you, Julie. Let me know if you see my screen.
Looks perfect.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. I'm honored today to dive deeper together with you into the topic of teaching in emergencies, social emotional learning and peace education. But first, let me quickly take a moment and express my sincere gratitude to Julie Casper, Laura Baker, Meg Riley, Alisa Vereshchagin, Alena Sukhilina, and Lottie Baker, to Rilo Office, to ESA Embassy in Kyiv, to Childhood Education International for organizing this wonderful series of webinars, which inspire us for future progress. I feel so fortunate to have an opportunity to learn with you and from you. So the aim of our presentations is to highlight the necessity of social emotional learning in emergency settings, as well as to introduce theoretical principles of social emotional learning and peace education, and share social emotional learning and peace education techniques for language teaching in emergencies. So there are different types of emergency settings, such as natural disasters, conflicts, pandemics, but today we're going to focus on a war-affected environment, which presents numerous practical challenges that can significantly impact the quality of education and the well-being of both educators and students. For example, the physical infrastructure may be damaged and schools and universities may be repurposed for military use. That's what we see here. Families fleeing conflict zones may leave their homes, schools, and communities behind, and disrupting the continuity of education for children and adolescents. Also, teachers may be displaced or injured, which leads to a shortage of educators. Exposure to violence, displacement, and loss of loved ones also results a significant psychological trauma for students. So this trauma can hinder their ability to focus, learn, and engage in school activities effectively. Many students and teachers require psychological support and counseling to cope with the emotional toll of war. So in addition to all about mentioned issues, Ukrainian educators and students have faced with numerous blackouts, lack of internet access, constant sirens, massive missile attacks, and lack of heating since the beginning of full-scale invasion. So social emotional learning is an integral part of dealing with psychological trauma for both students and teachers living in a wartime. In their book, Social and Emotional Learning in the English Language Classroom, Luis Javier Penton Herrera and Gilda Martinez Alba provide the definition of social emotional learning by Osher, according to which social emotional learning is the processes by which children and adults acquire and apply competences to recognize and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, appreciate the perspectives of others, establish and maintain supportive relationships, make responsible decisions, and handle personal and interpersonal situations constructively. We also agree with Luis Penton Herrera that with the help of social emotional learning, individuals acquire and apply competences to flourish in school and in life, including peace-building skills. So the key competences of social emotional learning include the development of self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. And we as teachers can foster acquiring these skills in students by incorporating social emotional learning techniques into our teaching contexts. So there are numerous social emotional learning activities which can be applied in any emergency context. In my language classrooms, social emotional learning takes many forms and is integrated into various aspects of teaching and learning. For example, to build a community, I create a positive and inclusive classroom culture where my students feel valued and respected. I encourage them to identify and respond to their emotions by using social emotional learning check-in journaling. I provide them with guided prompts like make a list of the most important people in your life and explain why they are important. Or I ask them to write a thank you card to someone who has made a difference in their life. Or how do you show your appreciation to someone? Also, I use prompts that support self-awareness and self-management, asking questions such as what actions did you take to help with difficult emotions during challenging times, blackouts, sirens, or write about a time when you felt yourself confident. What contributed to this feeling? To recognize personal qualities, I ask them to write about their achievements that make them proud and describe internal qualities and external supports which help them accept new challenges and adjust to change. To indicate abilities associated with accomplishing personal and educational objectives, I encourage them to share the situations in which they felt like giving up on something they wanted to improve and explain how they handled it. Also, I teach my students to recognize the perspectives and feelings of others. I ask them to write about a time that their opinion changed and the reason why that caused this change. Also, to make the learning process during the wartime more interactive and engaging, I use social media networks and online tools. I use icebreakers like hope and fears as a reflection tool, or to assess the students' expectations from the learning and to build rapport among them. I ask my students to write down their greatest hope for the current year and the greatest fear by creating virtual sticky notes on various colors on Padlet, for example. Since my students are more likely to share their emotions, hopes, and desires in the virtual world, like Facebook and Instagram, rather than in a real class, posting pictures that demonstrate their preferences and troubles can be one of the many ways to cascade key elements of students' identity among peers, as well as set social emotional learning goals. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques help my students to manage stress and anxiety. I incorporate brief practices, relaxation exercises, and guided meditations from the Mindful Life Project at the beginning or at the end of a language class or during transitions to help my students focus and be more present. I also integrate a mindful gratitude exercise, which has a power to generate enthusiasm, alertness, and connection to others. I ask them to sit, for example, comfortably in a chair and keep a good posture, put their feet on the floor, close their eyes, inhale and exhale 3 times, and then choose one thing, one person, or one experience they are grateful for. They have to focus on only that thing, person, or experience and visualize it, smell it, touch it, and sense how this thing, person, or experience made them feel or make them feel now. This also may be connected to the vocabulary they have just learned. Finally, I encourage the students to create Pinterest boards for their dreams and aspirations, and to set positive goals for the future in post-war Ukraine. They visualize their ambitions on a virtual board and then present ideas in breakout rooms, or they may post their reflections on Padlet. Well, and now I'm giving the floor to Olha Bilyk, who will proceed with peace education as one of the key strategies of social emotional learning.
Thank you, Antonina, and hello, everyone. I believe everybody will agree with the statement that education provides a sense of routine and normalcy that is crucial for the emotional and psychological well-being of students in emergency contexts. Having a daily schedule, interacting with peers, and engaging in educational activities offer a sense of stability and safety. It also helps students to learn and to grow. It gives opportunities for students to learn how to promote peace and solve conflicts in peaceful ways. According to Janine Dara, peace education is the inclusion of specific skills such as listening, reflection, problem solving, cooperation, and conflict resolution in order to promote peace. This can promote peace not only in our classrooms, but also in our communities and in our world. The goal of peace education is to help students learn how to work together to resolve conflicts, to honor human rights, and to respect all human beings. Peace education means helping learners to develop the skills they need to understand each other, accept each other, and show goodwill to each other. Specifically, these skills include peacemaking and peacekeeping, being aware of our own values and attitudes towards diversity and human dignity, discussing these values and attitudes with others, using social interaction and language skills to promote peaceful relations between people, thinking critically and solving problems about issues of conflict. Humans need to learn peaceful coexistence for the safety of us all. Teachers have a unique opportunity to teach students peaceful coexistence. If teachers make students aware of peacemaking and peacekeeping skills, they can impact the world far beyond their classrooms. So, how can we apply peace education in our classroom? First of all, it is important to create a just world order within your classroom, where everyone is treated as fairly and respectfully as possible, and everyone is included in decision-making when possible. We should make sure that what and how we are teaching do not contribute to the conflict. We must look carefully at our teaching materials, to make sure they are not sharing stereotypes about a group or only showing one side of history. We must make sure our teaching and teaching materials are not biased for or against any cultural, political, or gender group. We must call on all the students in the class and give all students opportunities to participate and be leaders. When students are working in group, for example, we can assign each an important job. We can keep track of which students we have called on. Additionally, we can make sure all students have equal opportunities to share answers and ideas. We must try to make sure that all students are receiving a good education and that no students are left out. Create classrooms that are zones of peace and safe place for all to be, to grow, and to learn. According to Professor Shanov, when teachers create an environment where students feel welcomed and included, students are more motivated and likely to engage. So to provide opportunities for peace and inclusion, we can teach, for example, problem-solving skills. We can teach the steps we can use to solve problems. Then we can give students a chance to use these steps by giving them problem scenarios and have them work together to find a solution. On the slide, you can see a possible problem-solving scenario. So, a group of students must plan a project within a limited budget. They need to allocate funds for research, materials, and presentations while ensuring everyone agrees on the budget distribution. Or, for example, students are experiencing difficulties with online classes, such as technical issues, distractions, or time management problems. They must share strategies and support one another in adapting to the new learning environment. We can also teach our students the language they need to show respect for others, even when they disagree with one another. We can teach them how to actively listen and respectfully respond to each other. Teach the language needed to share different opinions. For example, I felt annoyed when you said that because. I disagree with what you said because. Then we can ask students to create skits that show how they can resolve a disagreement with a classmate. And finally, the students can perform their skits for the class. So a problem scenario for a skit you can see on the slide. Ask your students to role-play a dialogue between two learners who need the same textbook at the same time to complete their work for a class project. It is also crucial to allow students to contribute to their learning space in ways that celebrate who they are. For example, I include specific assignments that focus on topics like nonviolence, human rights, conflict prevention, conflict resolution, and peace. Through music, films, drama, and drawing, we can have students share with us what peace means to them, what it looks like, what it feels like, and what their wishes are for peace in their own community. With my students, I discuss some animated movies that promote peace and offer valuable themes for discussion in a classroom setting. My students like the cartoon The Breadwinner very much. This animated film tells the story of a young Afghan girl living under the Taliban regime. It provides insights into issues like gender equality, human rights, and the power of education in promoting peace. Another cartoon is Kung Fu Panda. While it's an entertaining martial arts comedy, this film also carries messages about self-discovery, personal growth, and the importance of inner peace. It's suitable for discussing mindfulness and emotional intelligence. The Incredibles. This Pixar film touches on themes of family, teamwork, and the consequences of using power responsibly. It can be used to discuss the importance of cooperation and conflict resolution. I also advise promoting volunteering, which is especially helpful in a wartime. I empower my students to contribute to various social, cultural, and environmental projects and initiatives in Ukraine. They actively participate in volunteer translating and interpreting for the doctors coming to Ukraine, making camouflage nets for the army, saving animals from human cruelty, and creating comfortable conditions for them to continue living in a shelter. Besides, they annually organize a charity event, the Fairy Visits the Children, to fundraise money by selling homemade sweets and buy presents for children who live in orphanages. To sum up, I must say that we cannot avoid war in our lives, but we can find ways to deal with it that decrease its impact on our lives. As teachers, we have a unique opportunity to help students prepare for more peaceful living by including peace education and social and emotional learning in our classrooms. It is clear that when the students are able to reflectively listen to others, persuasively share their perspective, solve problems, understand and cope with their emotions, they succeed in resolving conflicts and taking care of themselves. Thank you for your attention.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Olha and Antonina. You gave us so much to think about, so many resources. And I love the way you were framing the integration of peace education and social emotional learning in this presentation, really grounding us and situating us for the presentations ahead. Before we jump to the next topic, we're not going to open the floor for questions yet in discussion, but I'd like the participants, everyone who's listening, to please in the chat write down something that resonated with you, something that excited you, an inspiration or idea that you're taking away from Antonina and Olga, and or ask a question, and we'll discuss those questions at the end of all of our presentations. So we'll take just a couple of minutes here. If you could please say something that was really interesting, exciting, helpful for you, or a question that you have. And Antonina and Olga, then you can have a little time to think about it and we can respond later, okay? So I'm calling on all of our participants to open their chat, share a resource that you liked, share a question that you have, share an idea that came to your mind. Okay. Thank you so much. That was just wonderful. I'm giving another couple of minutes and encouraging everyone, please, to add something that was exciting, helpful, interesting, new, that came to you in this presentation, or a question you have. Great, we're getting some questions, some comments. Let's keep those coming. Thank you. Very good. All right. And while those are coming in, let me get prepared to introduce our next presentation. Please keep your comments, your questions coming in for Antonina and Olga. And we're going to move from the integration of social and emotional learning through SEL and peace education into conversation about classroom drama for healing trauma. And this presentation is going to be full of techniques and some experiences from the classrooms of Nataliya and Olena, two superstars in the field of teaching English as a new language and preparing teachers of English across Ukraine. These two women have a vast experience and expertise, and also are extraordinarily talented in their ability to engage people and to engage ideas. And so I expect that this presentation will be offering us much more excellent food for thought on classroom drama for healing trauma. And with that, I turn it over to you, Olena and Nataliya, for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see my slide?
There it is.
Okay. So, dear colleagues and friends, we are extremely excited and honored to participate in the webinar series, and would like also to express our kind and heartily gratitudes to Childhood Education International, Julie, Meg, Alisa, thank you, Laura Becker, Hunter College, City University of New York, and Alena Suhinina, Rila Kiev, for the opportunities to learn from each other, to grow both professionally and personally. Our feelings, our plans, our future are bright, and we would like to spread this brightness onto you. Living and working in different parts of Ukraine, Olena and I every day face the same problems teaching students under the current circumstances. And we share the same visions, how to add colors to our English classes and keep our students motivated and engaged, and how to lighten their eyes and faces again. And in this presentation, we will come up with some ideas about the needs and necessity of incorporating drama techniques and drama component into the learning process, share our own experience presenting different drama techniques for online and face-to-face teaching, and willingly take part in the discussion in the end. The last couple of years were traumatical for the world and Ukraine in particular. Having survived the COVID-19 quarantines, lockdowns, stressful online learning, we faced even more dramatic and traumatic 2022, which for educational society in Ukraine, in my country, became challenging in terms of new roles, new modes of behavior, and conducting the classes. Pulling ourselves together, we subconsciously and intuitively were looking for different ways and activities to communicate and teach our students who were scared, displaced, stressed, and demotivated. Despite all the hardships, this year, Ukrainian educators have proved their personal brilliance and professionalism, working offline and online, with learners whose traumas are evident and hidden. Why? Because we are also responsible for the happy, mindful, emotionally stable, and positive new generation of free, peaceful, and prosperous Ukrainians.
Yeah. A student's life is stressful, deadlines, exams, relations with peers. But if you add to all these common sources of stress, quarantine followed by war, lifestyle destruction, displacement, and the rest, the experience might inevitably lead to trauma. People experience psychological and emotional trauma when a stressful situation causes their brain and body to feel enough stress that survival does not seem guaranteed. The memory of this stressful traumatic experience can leave a lasting negative impact on our brain, on our body, like a scar after a deep wound. Students who have experienced trauma may not have physical scars, but they may have invisible scars that can affect their cognition and behavior. So, and all of us, educators, are extremely interested in the effects trauma might have in the EFL classroom. Students who are under stress may have trouble concentrating, not attend classes regularly, struggle to regulate their emotions, get headaches and stomach aches, exhibit bad habits such as biting their nails, falling asleep at their desk, have less patience that you would expect, show lack of interest and motivation. Next slide, please. Yes, so how to deal with traumatized students in the classroom, how to achieve maximum success and growth. So SEL comes to help. The process by which children and adults acquire and apply competencies to recognize and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, appreciate the perspective of others, establish and maintain supportive decisions, and handle personal and interpersonal situations constructively. Social emotional learning, why so much attention is drawn to it. While implementing SEL into our EFL classroom, the following interrelated core components must be taken into account. Self-awareness, which comprises identifying and recognizing emotions, accurate self-perception, recognizing stress, needs, and values, self-management, which is about impulse control and stress management, self-motivation and discipline, goal setting and organizational skills. Social awareness, which is about perspective taking, empathy, difference recognition, respect for others. Relationship skills, which consists of communication, social engagement, relationship building, working cooperatively, negotiation, refusal and conflict management, help seeking. Responsible decision making, which is about problem identification and situation analysis, problem solving, evaluation and reflection, personal, social, and ethical responsibility.
And the needs logically lead us to the solution of bringing empathy, personal involvement, positive emotions, various motivational tasks and activities, breathing and relaxation techniques, and mindfulness into the context of our classroom. So you may ask why drama, why choose drama here? Just because, in our opinion, it fits perfectly. Now we would like to ask you to send your virtual hearts or to send the hearts into the chat if you have already used drama in your classrooms. You may use emotions or just write in the chat if you have already had it in your experience, teaching experience.
That's great. There are so many colleagues who share the same interest as us.
Sure. Great. Thank you very much for your responses. In the end, we'll have another survey, yes, and we will see their results. And throughout history, drama has always been a part of people's life. It is a unique tool to express human feelings. It is a blessing in disguise for practicing the language and providing a wide range of oral activities with the elements of creativity and problem solving. The idea of let's pretend or imagine that asks the learner to project himself imaginatively into another situation outside the classroom, stepping into another person's shoes.
The concept of drama techniques implementation in EFL Classroom is not new. However, it sparkled with new colors for us during our exchange program at Hunter College, New York City, where we had the chance to participate in a series of workshops devoted to the issue. As a result, we were overwhelmed by the impact it had on all the participants, many of whom were severely traumatized. Consequently, we came to the conclusion that little can compare with theatrical techniques application in our own EFL classroom, no matter whether it was off or online.
Drama, I'm sorry, so my slide doesn't go further. No, okay. So why isn't drama? Because it makes language learning active, creative, motivating, and engaging experience, nurturing collaboration and teamwork, bringing real life into the classroom, and definitely helping learners gain confidence and self-esteem needed to use the language spontaneously, developing their emotional awareness and self-regulation, and consequently lowering stress and trauma. The research and our personal experience show that in terms of the linguistic aspect, using drama in the classroom is highly beneficial for practicing and developing all the components of the communicative competence, receptive skills, different kinds of reading and listening, oral and written production and interaction, language habits, social, cultural, and strategic competencies, as well as organization skills and the 21st century skills, literacy, learning, and life, which is the most important. This year, with my second-year students, I started actively incorporating drama techniques into my practical English classes. So now I would like to share some of the techniques which have already been used. Tableau. Tableau is one of the types of drama in which you suggest students a problem or situation that evokes definite emotions. The following pictures are taken while having the topic health and illnesses. Each group creates a tableau or a frozen scene to visualize the emotions and presents their tableau to the rest of the class, who are supposed to cast the scene and say why people or in which situation people might feel such emotions. Role-playing and simulations or case scenarios are the basis of any drama activities. Having the costumes on, the real ones or the imaginary ones, a person turns into another human being with new visions, with new manners, voice, and actions. Simulations are made-up problems, cases or situations using real-life constraints and effects in order to discuss and predict how a certain situation could turn out in the real life. Apart from using the real language, terms, or different communicative patterns, students get extremely excited and are willing to play and learn at the same time. Some other techniques used puppet talks. They are quite useful for the students with a high level of inhibition and anxiety. Usually, students who do not want to talk about themselves feel more relaxed and comfortable doing or saying things for the puppets. And on the contrary, active and motivated learners are also eager to act as funny or fairy tale characters. Improvisation is the scene set usually by the teacher on the topic which are being learned at this time and performed by the students with little or no time to prepare a script. The more you use it, the more fluent your learners become. I can't but admire learners' creativity and linguistic scope while performing and dramatizing famous favorite songs. But my special admiration goes to the ones who take risks to write their own lyrics on the topic given or their own songs and dramatize them. Music is always healing, and poetry is always remedial. Some other techniques presented on the slide, like dramatizing the scenes from the dialogues or the textbooks, the text from the textbooks you're reading, help you to develop your drama skills and your linguistic knowledge as well. Acting out movie scenes is also very helpful and very interesting and loved by the students. When taking the roles of the characters from the movie, students recreate famous or popular or memorable scenes doing the same lines, imitating accents, gestures, or discourse. As for miming, it is a perfect activity to express your emotions silently and to present a task using gestures and postures. In the classroom, it can be used as a part of a warming up activity, forecasting, or revising vocabulary, or just to have a break from a boring classroom routine.
I am from the east of Ukraine, and the war has brought lots of changes into every aspect of our life, including the educational format. It's not a secret that online education deprives our students of many benefits and pleasures of student life. That is why it was our special concern to manage to implement, even in a transformed way, a bulk of theatrical techniques in our classroom to support the students to build up their self-awareness and self-confidence, to bring a sparkle of happiness, brightness, and calmness into their souls by means of art. So now we would like to share some of the ideas which found their realization online. So, for example, hot seating. When the student or teacher answers questions in role about the background, behavior, and motivation of a character. It may be used for exploring the motivations of any real or fictitious character, and strategy does not provide only a relaxed atmosphere in the classroom, but also helps to develop questioning skills of the whole group. Role play is the basis of all dramatic activity. The ability to suspend disbelief by stepping into another character's shoes come quite naturally to most students. Through the structure of the drama lesson, this can be used to great effect, challenging children to develop more sensitive understanding of a variety of viewpoints while sharpening their language skills. Sound collage is an audio-based activity which encourages students to enhance their listening, speaking skills, as well as their creativity and storytelling abilities. I ask my students to record any sounds from their daily life and let the group listen to them afterwards. Any assumptions are welcome. There is a possible follow-up activity to make up a typical day of a student's life. Freeze frames, very close to tableau, which Nataliya spoke about, when the teacher introduces a topic, story, or a situation relevant to the lesson. Students are divided into small groups, pairs. Each group is assigned a specific scene or moment from the story or situation. And within their group, students physically create a freeze frame by posing characters or elements of the scene. After all the groups have completed their freeze frames, there is a discussion or analysis phase, and students can take turns explaining their freeze frames, describing the characters' feelings and actions, and discussing the significance of the scene. The most difficult point online is to think of the context, which does not demand a lot of space and can be performed without forming a group. Yet it all depends on the tutors and students' creativity. Conscience alley. That's a useful technique for exploring any kind of dilemma faced by a character and proving an opportunity to analyze a decisive moment in greater detail. The group forms two lines, as you can see in the picture, and they face each other. One person, the tutor or participant, walks between the lines as each member of the group speaks their advice. When the character reaches the end of the alley, they make their decision. Having participated in this activity myself, I was just struck by the effect it had on me and the audience, and I was strongly determined to find a way to apply it online. There it is. The students are split up into pairs in breakout rooms with the task to think of a few positive or negative comments to the character. Later, coming back to the common conference, they comment together as they hear their room number. Film episode dubbing. The idea arose from the search for creative implementation of a phonetic contest about 10 years ago. And students here are free to choose any episode, 2 to 3 minutes of a movie, cartoon to perform. They practice their roles, paying particular attention to intonation, emotions, even voice timbre, and then perform playing the roles of doing a job of a famous actor or actresses. I would highlight the unforgettable emotions, artistic skills, and the festive atmosphere of such events, which were easily replicated online due to modern technical advancement. So here is a very, very short episode.
Chandler, do something. Come on, do something.
I'm ignoring you.
Okay, here, I'm going to be on the camera guide. All right, first stop, Westminster Abbey.
What the hell is that?
It's not on Wednesday. All right, the hotel is there. Wait. No, we want to go. No. I know. I'm going to have you to go into the map.
Welcome, guys. Welcome,
That's
guys.
enough. Chandler, do something. Come on, do something.
Okay.
That's enough, yeah. So
Yeah, I'm trying to cope. Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Good. So then, and at the very beginning of our 3-month theatrical marathon, the students were interviewed and asked to fill in a few forms concerning their feelings, emotions, and attitudes to life, education, and themselves. 3 months later, they were invited to share their ideas on the same topic. So here are the results that overwhelmed us. You can just read with us and enjoy the progress in their real self-awareness, self-confidence, and just enjoyment of life has improved, I would say. So overall, taking all the above mentioned into consideration, we must admit that drama techniques implementation in the EFL classroom is an irreplaceable multifunctional tool. It's not only assists in developing our students' communicative competence, but also supports in hard times, creates social bonds, motivates learning and boosts sensitivity, creativity, imagination, self-confidence, self-awareness, empathy, collaboration, adaptivity, relaxation, memory, and language advancement. Those after listening to our presentation, please put your thumbs up if you are just feel inclined to use drama techniques in your EFL classroom.
You may use the screen as not the text, but emotions to lighten our screen.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your attention. We are ready to answer your questions if there are any.
Thank you very much.
Nataliya, Olena, thank you. That was fantastic. So many wonderful ideas and examples. Thank you for sharing the photos and the video and the comments from your students, because it brings it so much to life and helps us to understand and actualize the practices. And thank you also for bridging that gap between drama in the in-person classroom and the virtual classroom, because it's very challenging to imagine and reimagine activities for Zoom, for example, or Google Hangout. Thank you so much. As before, I'm going to invite our participants to, they're sharing their gratitude and accolades in the chat, which is lovely. If participants, if you could also share an activity that was mentioned or a strategy or a resource that you might like to try. We're interested to know what grabbed your attention in this presentation, which resources are going to be useful in your classroom. And also, if you have any questions, let's get those in the chat box now, so that when we have our discussion in about 25 minutes or 30 minutes, we can bring all those questions to the front. Okay, so I'm seeing Tableau is coming up. Yes, the Tableau is a super fun idea. What other ideas from the presentation resonated with you, participants? And what questions do you have? And Nataliya and Olena, you can also put questions for the participants that we can discuss at the end if you have any for them. What a wonderful presentation. Thank you, thank you. All right. While you're thinking and adding your comments, I'll queue up our next presentation. Thank you.
In fact, if I may add some words, I see that some of my students are also present here. So probably in the end, they may participate in the discussions, okay, how they felt and what they did.
Perfect. We would love to hear from the students directly. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to that. That's great. All right.
The supporters. Yeah, Nataliya. A team of supporters is here with you, right?
I know that your students are also present.
This is great. Thank you both for inviting your students. Wonderful. So we're seeing some of the activities that caught people's attention. So Nataliya and Olena, I want to invite you to think about those activities, and maybe if you have more you want to share, and the students of Olena and Nataliya, you might want to share some of your notes about the freeze frames, the tableau, the dubbing that was shared, the decision alley activity. And then also, if there are other activities that you want to bring back in the conversation later, we can do that as well. So with that, I'm going to introduce our third presentation. This will be the presentation that wraps up our day, and then we'll open the discussion, which will allow us to reflect on all of these topics and all of these resources. And this is such a wonderful presentation for us to consider after thinking about drama in the ESL or the ELT EFL classroom and thinking about it online, which is so challenging. Iryna and Bohdana are going to share with us now some digital tools that can help us to empower social emotional learning in our classrooms. And, you know, many of us on this call are familiar with multiple tools, but there are so many ways to use each tool. And then there are always new tools being invented as well. And so I'm particularly excited to hear from Iryna and Bohdana, who are both digital experts, who use digital technologies so creatively and thoughtfully in their classrooms, and who are going to help us to think about what we're doing with digital technology, what we're doing well, what we might want to do differently, and what new tools we might use, really focusing on the social and emotional learning, empowering our students to grow in that area. So with no further ado, I will turn the screen and the mic over to Iryna and Bohdana. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. It's I'm truly grateful to you and to your team, to Childhood Education, for the opportunity to share our experience. And hello, everybody, our honorable guests and our colleagues. Now focus, as Julie said, is on enhancing social and emotional learning through the integration of digital tools. I want to say that when implementing SEL in our classrooms, our primary objective is to establish a safe and positive environment conducive to learning. It's really important, especially in our circumstances. Given the challenging circumstances under which Ukrainian universities and schools operate, we acknowledge that we cannot guarantee our students that everything will be okay, especially in the face of personal tragedies, such as the loss of relatives and friends. However, our power and responsibility is to address their emotions in the present moment, here and now. And our strength lies in supporting them and cultivating a positive atmosphere that encourages active participation and allows us to monitor their psychological well-being consistently. In such cases, we can leverage simple yet effective tools that you may already have familiar with, but you have never thought about cases in which you can use them. We'll explore strategies applicable both for online and offline classes. Those who engage in virtual learning through platforms like Zoom, there are available features such as Zoom reactions and filters that can be harnessed to gauge and respond to the emotional well-being of students. I think you could feel that Zoom reactions provide a quick and non-intrusive way for students to express themselves during virtual sessions. By encouraging them to use these reactions, we gain insights into their feelings and engagement levels. Additionally, Zoom filters can be used creatively to inject a bit of lightheartedness into virtual classrooms, fostering positive atmosphere. For example, we can ask them to change their virtual background to show places that they want to visit, and start discussion. Or we can ask them to create like positive atmosphere they want to be in. And they can change, and again you can discuss these, and check and monitor their psychological well-being with the help of Zoom backgrounds. And now let's put this into practice. I invite you to use Zoom reactions to express your willingness to participate actively and collaborate with us in our part of workshop. Please, you're welcome. Use your Zoom reaction to show that you're ready to work with us, to collaborate with us. Thank you. Thank you so much, colleagues. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. It's really important for us because your engagement is a key element in creating supportive and enriching learning environment. Thank you so much. And we can move further. Bohdana, please, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. So good evening or good morning to everyone. Now we encourage you to to use this Winnie the Pooh scale and rate your today's mood in Winnie's. So please write down in the chat number 1, 2, 3, or 4 which Winnie you are today. So please, everybody. Okay, different. Thank you so much. Okay, great, thank you so much. So we know that an animal's mood scale is a creative and engaging tool to check students' emotional well-being in educational settings. And this scale assigns a range of animals, but we don't have animals right now, we have Winnies, that represent various moods and emotions. And the main moods that you can check are happy, sad, excited, tired, surprised, energetic, calm, relaxed, anxious, and stressed. As you can see, we have a happy Winnie, surprised Winnie, tired Winnie, and sad Winnie. But you can choose any moods that you need, that you want to check at your class. But instead of an animal, okay, Winnie is an animal, but instead of animals, you can adapt any animal scale into your own one, create your own one based on your students' interests in movies, in cartoons, in books, music, movie or book characters or movie stars, whatever you want, a real person even. So it's up to you. And by having students self-assess and select an animal, or Winnie in this case, that best represents their mood, educators can gain valuable insights into their emotional state and provide appropriate support and guidance to enhance their learning experience. So this is a great way, and to check the mood of your students. And by the way, you may use some if you don't work virtually, you work in class. So you may use smart boards and encourage your students to use their smartphones to rate, or even some stickers can be on the whiteboards. So it's up to you. All techniques you may use, even if you don't have them. Also, you may use your creativity and blackboard in your class.
Okay, I can continue. I want to say that another effective tool for monitoring the psychological well-being of students is the use of checklists. Love them. Whether you are conducting classes online or offline, digital platforms such as Google Forms, Genially, Poll Everywhere, Mentimeter, offer user-friendly options to create and distribute these checklists to students' mobiles. Using these platforms provides a flexibility based on your preferences and instructional objectives. For instance, Google Forms, and we can show you one of our checklists here. Google Forms allows for the easy creation for customizable surveys. You can utilize these surveys when you want to identify the respondent to assist your student, or to seek help from a psychologist if your student needs it. You see questions, at first you monitor your students' mood, then you can offer them questions about the ability to keep up with their classes, about the engagement, or you can ask them to describe their relationship with peers. And as teacher, you can monitor and help your students, in the case, if your students need. Another variant, of checklist is Genially. It's a little bit different because Genially offers a visually engaging and interactive approach to checklist design. Your students can use Genially individually with the help of their mobiles, in class or online, or they can use Genially from their laptops if they're working online. Additionally, if they can work in groups, if you have a smart board in your class, it's pretty easy. They can work together, discuss their mood, choose as many smiles as they want, use numbers to assess their ability to keep up with their classes, the same questions, but in different way. And as teachers in this case, you will gain an average picture of the whole group, the average situation with their mood, with the engagement, and so on and so forth. But it's really comfortable for your students to use Genially. They love it. You can use Poll Everywhere and Mentimeter. The difference is that these sites facilitate real-time feedback through polls and surveys. And what is particular advantages is the ability to distribute checklists to students' mobile devices quickly. And this not only ensures accessibility, but also encourages their active participation in reflecting on and managing their psychological well-being. The ease of use and accessibility make these tools valuable in promoting a supportive and responsive learning environment. And now we want you to participate and actively and to measure your mood in Venice, but with the help of Mentimeter, just to feel how it works. Please, you're welcome. Bohdana will send you the link into our Zoom chat.
It's already there. Please, in the chat, follow the link. And
follow the link, please, and measure your mood in Venice.
Okay. Oh, I can see 17 people already voted.
So with the help of Menti, you get again the average picture, for your class.
Okay, I guess we can share the results.
Ready, steady, go. And we get the picture. So now we see everything is okay with the mood of our participants. Just some of them. Really good mood. Maybe they are tired, because it's Saturday.
Okay, that's a great result, I guess. 95 people. Nobody's tired.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, so thank you so much for your participation. We move forward. Okay, storytelling, especially digital storytelling. So we know that the stories, they convey complex emotions in a way that students can understand. So they develop self-awareness and self-control, empathy and understanding of other cultures, ethnical thinking, ethical thinking, and examples of situations and decisions in the stories. Narrativization of social emotional competences can take place through various types of storytelling, such as role-playing, reading aloud, journaling, traditional storytelling, picture books, comics, blogging, podcasts, and so on and so on. But digital storytelling differs from traditional ones in the way it includes the digitalization of stories and the use of computer programs, softwares, and online platforms to create visual content, thus facilitating the reception of information by students with clip thinking and drawing attention to a specific topic. In the era of global digitalization of social process, including educational ones, this type of storytelling is becoming quite an effective tool for social emotional learning as well. So let's consider several online platforms, online tools for creating digital stories and possible tasks with different forms of student involvement. So the first one we would like to share, it's an emoji cave painting. So you can see a story that is in emojis. I would like you to write in the chat, or maybe to say what kind of story is behind this emoji painting. Please write down in the chat, or you may speak if you want. So what is the story behind? You read from left to right, yeah? So the sun is the beginning, the girl is the end of the story. Okay, Tatiana. Story of one's academic success caused by hard work and diligence. Reader, yeah. Then students' daily routine, yeah, could be. New day and I'm tired, but coffee helps me be strong for my day of, it's so fast, I cannot read so fast, of my study and accomplishment. Yeah, so all of you are right. This story is about students or person who is learning something, or the sun is rising, the day is becoming and is coming, but we are so sleepy. What helps us, of course, coffee, cup of coffee or tea, and we become stronger, and so we can achieve our goals in education and become a great student. So that is the story. But as you can see, yeah, emoji, they explain some concepts. They explain some adjectives, so adjectives, nouns, concepts, actions are involved in are in this emoji. So it's a great way to use them. So students, by the way, can express their emotions or describe some particular situation, as was in this example, with the help of various emojis, and you can find them in the libraries. They're online. In a minute, I will not in a minute, let's do it right now, to show you those platforms. As you can see, a great number, they are united into according to some topics. You may find smiles, for instance, and they have a description, like, for instance, what we have? Green face with smiling eyes, yeah, for instance, or smiling face with sunglasses. So you can read the description, find that emotion that you need, yeah, to express in the library. So it's really helpful, and to use it, to use these emojis in your cave painting. So the task of the classmates to explain, yeah, to use their own interpretations of their peers' stories, digital stories, and in this case we can develop students' creativity and empathy, and everybody is involved. This is a very easy task, very easy to use and to implement into your classes. You can do it in the chat, yeah, so in a Zoom conference like now we have, or use some messengers, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you may use with in communication with the students, or online boards like Jamboard or Miro, Padlet. Also download and pay, just copy and paste these emojis into the boards. And now we encourage you, because we have some very interactive session now, to use emojis in Zoom that you have and make a short story. And, make a short story. Yeah, write your emoji cave painting in Zoom right now in the chat. Please, what is about today? What is your day today? Express it. By the way, if you just, there are a lot of emojis in Zoom, so use the variety of them. Food, yeah, type of food and so on. Great, pizza. Yeah, just try to make a story. Use not just one emoji, but couple of them. Okay. If you just use the library from emojis. Oh, great, Olha. A laptop, a family. Okay. Probably Olha had a family day today, yeah, and now she's studying, yeah, computer. Okay, great. Okay, please, couple of seconds. Nice, thank you, Julie. Okay, great, thank you, Marina. So many great stories we have, digital stories. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. All right. So thank you for your participation. It was an emoji cave painting. Just a second. Sorry. And now the second kind of digital storytelling that you may also easy to use and easy to implement it to your classes, and doesn't take a lot of time to make this digital story. So it's a dice, story dice. Yeah? Maybe you've seen them, maybe you've used them. Yeah, they're like objects you can buy, but also there are some online tools to use them. So why dice stories is good? Instead of traditional dice that is from 1 to 6, yeah, story dice have a lot of pictures, yeah, on the sides of these dice. So, and these pictures can also, they mean something, they mean some concept, and can be used to provide a story some specific way. So students, they can work individually, they can make their own stories using this story dice, or they can work in pairs or in mini groups, or you can use it for the whole class, right? Just one student, one sentence, but the story is for everybody the same. So it can be orally or in written form. So it's up to you which way to choose. And but what is important, that the theme that students have to make a story of, yeah, they it must be some general theme like friendship or love or kindness or solving a problem, because this the dice, yeah, they have a picture, it's some concept, but it can, there are a lot of interpretation of these pictures, and you have to give your students freedom to be creative. right? So a general idea of general topic, encourage them to make their own stories in their own ways. Now I would like to show you just a moment. I'm so sorry, to show you those story dice. So you may choose the number, like 5 dice, yeah. You can change if you don't like this ones because they're in a random way. So you have, if you don't like this one or it's hard or students don't like these ones, they can change. So this is one of the platforms, and the second one so there are 5 or 9 dice versions, so you may develop your stories, make it bigger if it's necessary, and also you can roll again if you don't like these pictures, so you can change them. So students, they think about, so you give them the topic like kindness, for instance. Yeah, your story must be about kindness or friendship, so any kind of SEL competencies. And they create the plot, they choose the characters or a character, their story, they prepare, and of course they present in the end. The way to present is also up to you and up to your students, written orally, in a digital way, or they can write something and send you as a piece of text. So it's up to you. Just be creative and give this opportunity to your students.
Creativity, yeah, is the center of our lives. We love different variants of storytelling and use lots of activities and many different sides. So just dive into it and they will enjoy it. Yeah, we can move further. If you wanna move further and dive deeper in social emotional learning, you can use with your students different apps and some useful platforms, where your students can do tasks individually or collaboratively. They can work collaboratively. And the first one you see in our frame of our presentation. The first one is it's an app. You can use it from your mobiles. It's really easy to use it. It is called My Peak a While, and it's an educational SEL app for young learners. Yeah, it's so cute. And using self-focused stories, really interesting and cute stories, lessons and activities, this app uses the TESOL approach to help young students learn empathy, self-awareness, and self-regulation. That's why we like it, really. And this app is presented as both a video game and an interactive storybook. And it provides a magical world, you can see, really cute and funny characters. A magical world where people and animals solve problems and live together in harmony. And you can visit their homes, learn more about their families, solve problems together, write letters of gratitude, so do everything, and even discover more about courage together with these cute characters. And this app is designed to engage young students to have who have difficulty socializing and managing emotions. So this app is really helpful, and it motivates students learn more and develop their social, emotional skills. Another really helpful platform, it's Super Better. Love it because it's a game-like motivational tool that promotes positive habits for teens, for students who are a little bit older, and even for adults. It was really interesting for me to go through all these challenges. This site emphasizes exercise, avoiding stress, and living balanced life. Students see good and bad behavior examples and test out healthy habits in daily activities. So you can look through it, and when you press dashboard, you can find suggested quests. So you can give your student a task to do the quest or the test, yeah, and they can do it individually or in team. And this quest represents like a set of tasks they have to do every day, yeah, and it's really interesting. So they open, read the instruction, and they have to follow the instruction and to train some kind of social and emotional skills. For example, when you press the dashboard, you see suggested quests, yeah, and you can choose everything you need and or your students need, yeah. And for example, mindfulness, yeah, and you see 3-minute challenge, yeah. And students should follow the instruction, do this, and then give you feedback. Yeah, and they can do this together, working groups, or maybe individually. So it's up to you. And this site is not free totally, yeah, but you have a really big trial period. Yeah, it's absolutely free the whole month. So you have enough time for yourself and for your students to try some of quests here. So you're welcome. It's really interesting and adventurous. All these platforms and sites are really useful, and we put together all the links we use for you. And at the end of our presentation, we'll share the infographics that we have made for you. And thank you for your attention. If you have questions, or maybe you can write them or you can ask them. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Iryna. Thank you, Bohdana, for such a lively presentation. Thank you for using the tools and helping us to experience them and feel them and engaging everyone. Yes, use your emojis now and your reactions to let our presenters know how you're feeling, how you enjoyed that. That was absolutely wonderful. And what a great way to pull all of the threads together from today, because we started by talking about the importance of social emotional learning and peace education. And you were bringing that back in, talking about some of the ways we can bring our students together, help them to harmonize their feelings and work together. We were talking about drama to heal trauma, and you were introducing other tools for storytelling. And I was thinking about the emoji cave painting and how that can promote writing, but could then also become a drama activity. And so if we start to layer and stack what we've been learning today, we get an entire curriculum that's building, which is really lovely. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. I'm going to be quiet for just a moment to invite everyone to please post a question that you have that you want us to discuss. And we do have a nice block of time, and I do want this to be a full discussion. So I will be quiet. I want everyone to add a question or a thought that we can be talking about as a community. There are over 70 of us here, and I think our collective minds can do some really great work. So let's post some questions, and then I'll facilitate our conversation in just a moment. And I invite our presenters to also post questions for each other or for their teammates as well. Okay, we have questions coming in, which is wonderful. I have a bunch of questions as well. And I see an invitation and I want to jump on that opportunity. Olena is saying that she would love to hear from Nataliya's students, their impressions of the drama techniques and implementation. And I think having heard from all of the instructors about the many strategies we use, turning to our students and listening to their impressions and their learning experiences is a great idea. So I'd like to turn the floor over to the students of any of our distinguished faculty members who have participated in the drama techniques or the peace education or the SEL activities, the use of the cave painting emojis, the dice storytelling, any of it. For students who are on the call with us today, would you be willing to turn on your microphone and share some of your experience with us?
Hey there, may I have a word?
Please, thank you, Hannah.
So greetings from Zhytomyr, Ukraine. And first of all, I want to say that I'm extremely grateful to be here today. And I'm extremely grateful to every and each speaker for amazing information, for the impact they have on their students. And as for dramatizing, so that's our group's favorite activity during our classes with Nataliya. Dramatizing helps us to show everyone what do we have in our minds, not only by speaking or writing, but with the help of our emotions, with the help of acting, and that's really exciting. So we do love it. We love bringing costumes to our classes, so that's extremely fun. And so we are grateful to Nataliya for this opportunity, that our classes are fun. They are interested. Okay, so maybe some of other students wants to share their opinion also. I know I'm not the only one here.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Would anyone else like to add?
Yeah, I can add some information. So I'm also extremely proud that I have an opportunity to be there, and I'm thankful to all of you that you share a lot of interesting and important information for all of us. It was really necessary to me for me to hear. And also about our lessons, they are never boring. They always are interesting. We have a lot of different exercises, a lot of dramatizing, and it's really like we always are engaged into our lessons, and we always have a lot of tasks to do, but it's not like overwhelming. It's always interesting. You have the opportunity to communicate, to develop your speaking skills, or like just to have fun with your group mates and share your opinion and thoughts with other people. So I'm really appreciate that Nataliya Romanivna always trying to make us trying to help us to participate in our lessons and make it more engaging and interesting.
Nataliya is crying. She's just so much. Thank you guys so much.
Isn't it lovely to hear the impact of the work that you do as an educator and to hear how the students are responding? And I really appreciate what you just shared about it being fun and every day being an opportunity to show up. And when we think about the circumstances of teaching and learning during a war, the idea that you're having fun in the classroom is just a miraculous thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it's a healing thing. It's a really important part of sustaining yourself and each other. And my gratitude to all of the educators on this call, the faculty members, the classroom teachers who are creating these joyful moments, these fun moments, these moments of connection and love and hope for each other. And building on that note, everyone talked about play-based learning, right? I heard it in the first presentation. Nataliya, you talked about play-based learning. Iryna talked about play-based learning. Bohdana, you talked about the dice stories and sort of interpreting in many ways and playing. And it sounds like play is an important part of what you're all noticing in terms of social and emotional learning in the language classroom. And so I want to invite all of our presenters and also anyone in our audience today. Why play? Why is play central in your classroom? Why is play important for SEL? Why is play important for language learning? Any thoughts on this question? And perhaps it's just too obvious because we've just heard from students about the joy.
Sorry, yeah, may I just add a couple of words. Actually, for the first time, we seriously dived into drama techniques when we were introduced by Steve Mann during the New York in-person exchange. And I thought, it is very useful. It's not new, nothing special. It doesn't need much preparation, but it really brings us to the live speaking, to the impromptu speech, to solving different problems, to prepare the learners for the situations which might occur in everyday life. Besides, it was very fun to see how engaged they became, because they relived different topics. Before we had the topic, the profession, jobs and professions, and they were miming different professions. So playing games, casting, pretending as if they were some, having the dialogues. And when now we are finishing the topic medicine and illnesses, and they bring costumes, they write songs, and they bring different objects. And I too understand that for them, it's a sort of engaging and continuation of fun, because I do not think that they really understand that they're not playing, that they are learning. Yeah, and your task is just to give them the right assignment, to create the atmosphere, to split into different groups, to find some different tasks or commands, and they will do everything themselves. Plus, of course, it needs scaffolding, because they need to be familiar with some topical vocabulary. Now our vocabulary is special, because we are talking about symptoms, about diseases, about different actions and the places, and about injuries. Yet to perform everything spontaneously in different situations, prepared and not prepared, you have to be prepared for this. And I'm very thankful to my students, because they wanted to participate, because they knew that I asked their permission to post some pictures. That is why they wanted to join. And for me, it was for the first time that I started implementing and using drama so often in my classes. It doesn't mean that I use it every time, because there is some routine which you cannot avoid. And I'm just very pleased that they became responsive. And, talking about SEL, when you step into the classroom, I'm lucky to have our physical classes to teach face-to-face. And you see that they are already smiling. It is very remedial, and it is very emotional, because this is the second. So these are a two-way street, because you want to help them, and at the same time they help you. As for drama techniques, thank you very much for introducing us to it, and thank you very much to my students for being responsive.
Nataliya, thank you for those reflections. Those ideas and thoughts around spontaneity and improv are such an important part of being a confident, comfortable language user that is often overlooked. And I think what you just described is creating opportunities, situations, and relationships that allow people to take risks. You mentioned that in your talk, to take risks that are safe within a community where they're supported, and try that out so that when they're in the quote unquote real situation, they are prepared, as you said. I think that's beautiful. And I just want to pick up on the thread. You mentioned that you asked your students permission to share their pictures and you invited them to be here to be part of the conversation. And I want to thank them again for being here and sharing their reflections. And I think that's such an important part that we need to remember as educators too around social emotional learning, is that it is a two-way street. It is co-created and it's built on trust and relationships. And we need to be very open with each other. And very honest with each other, right? And that raises a couple of other questions that I have for people, but I do see Olena's hand is up, so I want to turn the microphone over to Olena, and then I want to ask a couple other questions of the group. Thank you, Nataliya.
Just a few words, concerning our topic, drama techniques with Nataliya. I just wanted to say, I just can't find right now the question. It was in the chat. And so one of our colleagues asked, how do you find time for theatrical techniques and all the other procedures? We have to complete the syllabus, And there was a wonderful phrase which I have learned during our project. Sometimes less means more. So it doesn't mean that if we look through many pages of a textbook, that will be greatly beneficial for the development of communicative skills of our students. Sometimes this or that page might be omitted just in favor of their technique which we have discussed, and it'll be equally beneficial, even more, because here we are not only teaching, we are also supporting, we are also guiding, facilitating, scaffolding, and so on and so forth. So sometimes, it really works better than just going through a number of pages. So that's it.
Thank you, Olena. Less is more. And just making those choices as professionals, as informed professionals who are aware of the research, are aware of the impact, and deciding where to put the energy and helping our students make those decisions with us, right? Thank you so much for that, Olena. On that note, I wanted to ask Bohdana and Iryna and others also about student-led activities. So how much of this integration of social emotional learning is teacher-led and teacher-directed, and how much is directed from the student side? How much creativity and flexibility do they have? Do they get to suggest activities and apps and things, and what does that look like? And specifically, I was thinking about the character scale, Bohdana, that you showed with the Winnie the Pooh, and there's different ways to make that. And I'm wondering, have any of you had students who made their own character scales that the class used, designed their own, or designed their own theatrical activity and brought it to the class to perform? So I'm just curious to know how you're engaging students in designing some of these resources and lessons and materials. And this is open to anyone.
Julie. I and Bohdana, we can talk about this the whole day long. It's a miracle, but in every group of my students, I have students that can draw professionally. I love drawing. Sometimes I do it, but when they see a character scale for the first time, always, they offer their own variant, and it's so cool. And they actively participate in all our activities, and always they create something new. And maybe that's why it's like non-stoppable. We create lots of ideas just to invent something new. Because routines, it's so cool. It scaffold them, using routines, scaffold them and give them like safe environment, and they clear understanding what we expect from them. But from time to time they want to change, to add some changes. And they love cave painting. It was our idea, and we invented cave painting last year, but this year we modified cave painting into another variant of painting. So it's like an endless story. Bohdana can add.
yeah, I just want to say that Winnie the Pooh, it was my idea to make this skill because I do love this cartoon. It's so kind, so soft. That is why I wanted to implement it in our session today. But you may find a lot of animal scales, right, in the internet, just Google pictures and like Pinterest and similar websites. But we just we prepare our pre-service teachers, yeah, our students are pre-service teachers, and we encourage them to be creative because they need this creativeness, yeah, to be creative at their lessons after graduation, right? So you may use, of course, those that you can find as a resource in the internet or whatever it may be, but adopt according to your classes, right? You are the person who knows your class better than anybody else. So you know that today you just you scan the class. Okay, today is a good idea to use this emoji cave painting. They're in a good mood, they can do it, right? If they're too tired or too sad about something, then maybe better not to use it, right? Choose something else. The same about any kind of tool, any kind of method, yeah, be adopted to according to your particular situation in your classroom. So, and be creative just to adopt it. Yeah, you have to be very flexible. And I think that Ukrainian teachers are so flexible in any means that we can do anything at once, and just
flexibility and ability to work in the time of uncertainty. Yeah, this is the key of success of the Ukrainian.
We have even some kind of competence in our curriculums, yeah, to be flexible in unstable situations. So I think it's totally about us. So just say, my students, yeah, you have to be very, you have to be in the class all the time. You have to be very attentive and flexible. If it's necessary, change the way. If you even plan this way, maybe plan another way. If you scan that the mood of your student doesn't allow you to do what you want to do, yeah, change the task. So that is why adaptation of animal scale, according to like Harry Potter, there are a lot of emotions on the characters in the movies. So you may use Harry Potter, you may use Iron Man. I don't know what's your students up to date like. Yeah, so not the cat every time, the same cat, but maybe the, like, I don't know what was the last Barbie. Yeah, Barbie was like boom last summer. So use these ones, use these characters. The movies are great and to show this emotions on the faces, and you can just use them.
That's wonderful, Bohdana. And I loved what you said about being agile and responding to your students. You have your lesson plan, but you need to adjust to who's in the room that day and what they're bringing into the room. And we're different every day as individuals, even, right? And helping the students. I really appreciate what you said about not just providing all of the resources and expecting them to just use them, but inviting them to create their own and to adapt them and make them useful for their context and their classrooms.
And I would like just a second to add about flexibility, how flexible we are, because we had in Kyiv the kind of meeting. Yeah, we have a session with the students, and it was an alarm at the moment, so we had to go. And just during our session, we had to stop our session to go to the shelter with all our students, just to go a couple of streets. It took us like about 10 minutes to go to the shelter, and then to relax, just to concentrate and continue our work again, right? So then to stop it, come back to our main place again, and continue there to we had the plan with Iryna. We had a huge plan what to do, but we had to be very flexible and to cope with this problem that 30 minutes we just moved to some other place. Yeah, then under the stress, some missiles were around somewhere in the sky of Kiev. So we had to continue just to help our students not to think about it at all, to concentrate on the task, the shelter. So it's such a flexibility, never ending, I guess.
Flexibility and incredible perseverance and resilience and care. And the level of care that you're all showing in your work is profound and something that all of us around the world can certainly learn from and grow with, because you're showing that there are ways to create a sense of normality and a sense of continuance and perseverance, even in the most difficult circumstances. And we're grateful for that. Nataliya has asked in the chat, favorite tools for cooperative skills development online. And I want to direct that question to Antonina for a moment, because with another question on top of it, Antonina, you mentioned social media as a great tool for social and emotional learning, and perhaps it's good for cooperative skills development as well. But you talked about mindfulness and being present, but there is some controversy. Some people think that when you're on social media, you're not present, you're not mindful, you're distracted, you're scrolling. So could you talk a little bit maybe about cooperative skills development and social media apps and what tools you use and how you help your students to use them in an intentional and mindful way?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Julie, for your question. So social media networks is integral part of today's reality of my students, and as well as educational process. So even my 10-year-old daughter, she has numerous accounts, and yes, she cannot live a day without, just diving deeper and just scrolling her screen and checking who came in and who added a comment. So this is the new reality we have to face in with, actually, and to accept it. So, and we are to adapt and we are to interact with the students. And as I have already mentioned, my students, they easier share their emotions and feelings while being online. So they may add me to their social media network contacts. They allow me, some of them trust me more, so they would directly send me a message when they have some concerns, or should they share some pictures even with me. So, but still, I see that they would rather chat and interact with peers online. So using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, some other social media networks, but not in the class. So to do it in the class, I have to incorporate. So for example, those Pinterest boards are really helpful. So they visualize, they post their emotions, they may reflect, as well as on Padlet, interactive platform. I like this one as well. So I have numerous Padlets with them. Yes, and so actually I may say that less is more. That's what I learned from New York experience, because till then my class would look in a completely different way, like before the trip. And now I would say that 2 or 3 activities, but let us say 1 extra activity would include social media network, I would say. And that what keeps them relaxed, still engaged and motivated, because they see that I am part of this culture. I am part of their world, that I allow them to use it. And talking about mindfulness, well, who knows, while posting something, they still do concentrate on what they are typing, what they are willing to share, even choosing a picture. They find this right time to concentrate. And of course, during those blackouts and sirens, which we faced with, for example, last year even, we used to practice a lot those 5-minute mindfulness, relaxation, gratitude, because like separately or before the class or during, transitions or in the end of the class. Sometimes it even happened twice per class when I saw that, when I noticed that they really need this. And yes, those mindfulness practices, they are really helpful for my students, and they also became a part of the class. I can't say that we have to really think about where we are to find this right time. I think that we are to react immediately, and each day we have the class, because we never know what story, what happened with this student yesterday and the day before yesterday, for example. So we are to react as the teachers because we have this tool, we have this possibility. So we are to react immediately and to maybe to postpone some some activities we are we wanted actually before this, to include, but we are to concentrate on today's mood and today's emotions. We are to take it into the consideration, obviously.
Thank you for that note. That's actually an important note for us to keep in mind. And I see Olga has a closing note for us. Please.
Yes, I just wanted to add to Antonina's answer. Just a few weeks ago, I discussed different channels of communication with my students, and my question was, what is your favorite channel of communication for speaking with your peers, with your friends? And you see, there was no delay in answering Instagram. So at that moment, I understood that we are living in a new reality, and we as teachers should take advantage of this and integrate social media in our teaching. And then we will succeed. We will meet our students' needs, and it's great.
Thank you for that note. It really brings us around to what you've all been talking about in terms of social and emotional integration, which is really that we have to be present with our students, and we have to be responsive to our students and able to respond to our students, because it is a community affair. Learning is a community practice. And when we're in community, we have to be aware of who is there with us and how they are there with us. And we're going to continue to talk about this theme on Wednesday. The focus on Wednesday will be looking at well-being in English language teacher preparation programs. And so we hope you'll be able to join. It will be on Wednesday at 5 p.m. in Ukraine and 10 a.m. Eastern US time. You can follow the link if you haven't already signed up. You'll get all the information. But I think there's so much more for us to continue to explore. But I just want to say my deepest heartfelt gratitude for the 6 of you who have presented for us today, who've opened your classrooms and your worlds to us to understand how you're making sense of what is going on in the world and how you're making sense of that in your classroom and with your students. A special thanks to Nataliya and her students for coming and joining and sharing their voices and their experience. We really appreciate hearing from you and meeting you as well. Antonina, Nataliya, Olena, Iryna and Bohdana, thank you. And Olga, thank you. Thank you for all that you shared with us today. The conversation continues in the series all month, but also it continues on our Facebook group, TESOL Faculty United for Ukraine, and our LinkedIn group. And so if you're not already a member, please do join. And we will share all of the PowerPoints and slides and a recording with you next week, as well as certificates for those of you who participated for the session. And with that, I'd like to invite everyone to share one word from their heart. One word from their heart, which can also be your mind. We talk about mind, body, heart as if they're separate, but they're really all connected, right? So one word that is sitting with you about how you are feeling as we close this session this morning, this evening, this afternoon. I too am feeling grateful. I wish you all a safe evening, a deep sleep, a nice weekend. For those in the just starting their day, a beautiful day ahead. And I hope we'll see you on Wednesday. Take good care, everyone. And thank you so, so, so very much.